Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 17, 2021, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the market's making about face and sell off almost across the board. There's no major economic event scheduled for today. And as we look at the various markets, starting out with the currencies, we're watching the dollar actually strengthen versus the major pairs as we're watching the indices take the opposite direction. Both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ sell off significantly. Looking at commodities, oil sells off a bit, while gold breaking down to almost 1,800, over 60-point sell-off. Now looking at the stocks, Amazon was still up on the day despite the fact that the markets were selling off. We're going to take a look at that because that's an important move. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin trickling down just after hitting that 40,000 level. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. Here we go with the Euro USD at a 30-minute chart, and look at that 121.30 where we're at, and we're right now trading about 200 pips lower. That's a really significant move. If you look at a 4-hour chart, we're at that supportish level. Okay, looking at a daily, this was previous supportish level. We do have another support level, 119.61. So with all intents and purposes, we could see this actually bouncing, as this is a knee-jerk reaction, okay, especially when it's so systemic, so across the board, so volatile. Okay, we could see a bounce on the upside as well. Okay, so just keep an eye on this. If it firms up, if it looks like it's going to bounce, perhaps it will. Now looking at the Aussie dollar also, it did break that support level of 76. Let's look at a daily just to give us perspective here, but it is consolidating in this area. GBP USD also sold off, but not as much. Okay, GBP has been holding itself strong. So 139.91 is a previous resistance, subsequent support as we're looking at it right now. So keep that in mind as we see this as well. Now the Rand also took a little bit of a nosedive versus the USD. It looks like a spike here, but really the Rand getting weaker versus the USD, and that's why it's going up to 14. That's a significant move because if you guys remember, we were trading almost at 1340, 1330-ish level as we're making this correctional move. Now, this was anticipated. It wasn't anticipated that we'd go this far up, but next real resistance is 1422, so just keep that in mind. Now, jumping in commodities, or gold, let's take a look at this 1860 down to 1813, 1810-ish level, which now is bouncing 1810. So I'd like to see if this is a dead cat bounce, which means that it's a bounce, but it's going to go further down. So keep that in mind as this is making a correctional move. Now looking at oil also, we sold off, I would say significantly, okay, to 71.35, okay, from 72.95, $1.50. That's a significant sell-off. So we're there, okay. Markets are more volatile. Now looking at the Dow Jones, this is a significant sell-off down to 33,748. Now this is off of our highs by 1,300 points, okay. What the Fed came out basically is saying that they're going to increase interest rates in 2023 probably, as the markets is absorbing inflationary concerns, okay. That's really what's the concern here. So something to consider, okay. Markets are volatile, and what I'd like to highlight is one of the stocks, one of the major stocks, Amazon, was actually up on the day, so that might carry us higher. Okay, looking at the NASDAQ, not too bad, 110-point sell-off, which is not bad at all. Okay, so if we look at Amazon, look at this, green on the day to $3,400, up from $33.79. Okay, a $30 point move higher, or to a $40 point move higher in a day where the market's lost over 200 points. Okay, so that's significant. That shows me that there's still relative strength in the markets, and maybe the general market will catch up to this a little bit later. If we look at Microsoft also, it was down on the day. If we look at JP Morgan, really breaking down on the day, but up, okay, from our support level. Okay, this we did watch yesterday as we saw this bounce, and we did call this 155 was your support level, and sure enough, that's where we jumped off. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we just tapering off below 40,000 to 38,729. I think we're going to be consolidating here and continue to consolidate as we're going to hopefully bounce off of this moving average, the 30-day moving average, as you can see right there. So a lot of things happening in the market. All of a sudden, the summer turns on as the FOMC came out with their rate statement yesterday, and we're seeing the markets actually rotate right now. But I do expect some sort of comeback in the markets as it's been very resilient. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.